Praise Pathways presents Decoding the Old Testament, a layman's guide to the book of Amos. In the Old Testament, we find Amos, a humble shepherd turned prophet from Tekoa. His journey is not one of grandeur, but one of divine prophecy, imparting truths relevant even to this day. Amos was not a conventional prophet. He was chosen by God, not for his social status or scholarly prowess, but for his simple, honest heart. This is a reminder that our worth is not defined by worldly standards. Amos served in a time of relative peace and prosperity in Israel, around 8th century BCE. Yet, beneath this veneer, society was riddled with social injustices, corruption, and religious hypocrisy, a reality that Amos was called to address. Amos, the rugged shepherd, became God's voice, speaking out against these societal ills. His messages were confrontational, aimed at the comfortable elite who were neglecting the poor and vulnerable. They were hard-hitting truths that disrupted the status quo. In Amos, we see a divine critique of the wealthy exploiting the poor. This social critique is as relevant today as it was then, reminding us that God cares deeply about social justice and expects us to do the same. Amos's prophecy also warned of impending judgment. He spoke of a coming catastrophe, a divine intervention, if the people did not turn from their ways. It was a wake-up call, a warning of the consequences of neglecting God's commandments. But Amos also spoke of hope. Amid the dire warnings, there were glimpses of a future restoration, a time when justice would reign and prosperity would be shared by all. Amos's prophecy, however, was met with resistance. People did not want to be reminded of their failings or warned of impending judgment. But Amos remained steadfast, committed to his divine mandate. One distinctive feature of Amos's prophecy was his use of vivid, accessible imagery, drawn from everyday life. This made his message relatable, understandable to common people, reinforcing the idea that God's message is for everyone. Amos was not a doom and gloom prophet. He was a prophet of justice, a voice for the marginalized. His message was not just a critique of society, but also a call to action, to live justly and love mercy. Amos's prophecy reveals a God who is deeply concerned with social justice. It reminds us that faith is not just about rituals and offerings, but about how we treat others, especially the marginalized and the weak. Amos's message was not only for his time. It speaks to us today, reminding us of the need to live justly, with compassion and integrity. It challenges us to be conscious of the injustices around us, and to act against them. Amos's story is a reminder that anyone can be a vessel of divine truth. It is not about status or education, but about being open to God's call, even when it pushes us out of our comfort zones. Amos's prophecy is a call to self-reflection. It challenges us to examine our lives, our attitudes towards wealth, power, and justice, and to align our lives with God's vision of a just and compassionate society. In the book of Amos, we see that God's message is not only about personal salvation, but also about societal transformation. It calls us to be agents of change in our societies, in pursuit of justice and equality. The book of Amos, though a small part of the Old Testament, carries a weighty message. It is a timeless call to justice, compassion, and societal transformation, challenging us to be better, to do better. In conclusion, the book of Amos is not just a historical text, but a living message. It reminds us that faith is not passive, but active, transformative, a call to live out justice and mercy in our everyday lives. Decoding the Old Testament is not just about understanding ancient texts, but about digging deep into timeless truths. The book of Amos is a testament to this, a call to live justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with our God. Thank you for joining this simplified journey into Amos. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we continue our exploration into the Old Testament with the book of Obadiah. If you believe in the positive impact we're striving for, share this video with friends, family, or anyone you think might resonate with our message. Let's grow this community together.